Overseas Collaboration Year of Institute of Information Industry.
Thank you once again for this wonderful opportunity and congratulations to the opening of Sahid Smart Classroom. My name is Joey and I'm the project manager at Institute for Information Industry. And today we're going to talk about accelerating overseas collaboration and digital learning. Next page, please. So Institute for Information Industry is a government think tank organization under the supervision of Industrial Development Bureau of the Ministry of Economic Affairs, part of the Digital Education Institution, which is one of the largest ICT training center in Taiwan. We foster high quality professional talents, and we nurture talents and creative entrepreneurs to meet industry's needs, and also develop smart education industry, which is, we introduce innovation, virtual reality, AR, big data into like training scenario. Next slide. So as we can see here in this chart, Institute for Information Industry have already been in this field for almost 40 years. So since 1979, we've been doing training for career training from corporate employees to college graduates, and then moving on to ICT technologies such as Microsoft, Google, Cisco, security system certificates. And now after 2010 to 2021, we're now focusing on training in the fields of AI, big data, 5G, and other digital trends. And we have trained over 500,000 people in this field. Next slide. Okay, so in this chart, III is leveraging this kind of a government from the demand side and the supply side of things. So I is standing in the middle. So basically, we are connecting the government. So the government from the industry will provide good products, good solutions, and we connect with the supply side, which is the talent, which are the schools. So with this kind of connection, we are helping the industry, but we're also making sure that the supply side, which is the talents, are getting the best kind of solutions and education integration into their learning system, so that they can increase their skills, they can have more job opportunities and salary increase. Next slide. Yes, okay, so as we can see here from this chart, future learning needs to be changed from smart to sustainable. In this triangle here in the middle, we have environment, opportunities, and talents. So actually, these three will need to coexist together, especially from the environment. The environment is set by the government, right? So after the government already set the correct environment, talents they will need to prepare talent. And when talents are ready, opportunities are there. Especially in this 5-year period, we can see that a lot of countries are already having new implementation into their education system, such as in UK, Japan, Singapore, and Germany. So this is a very important stage for all the countries, in order to make sustainable learning possible. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a simple chart of learning evolution. You can see from the left side, we're starting from digital content, which is we have such as like e-content, e-book, massive open online course, and then we are entering the stage of digital classroom, which have hardware and software integration. And then after that, we upgrade one more step to smart campus. So with the smart campus, it's not only for education, but we can also implement like smart security, green technology, so which is like we can save energy, and we can implement maybe health management. So basically, this is like a integration of big data throughout the whole school. And after that comes future classroom, which is the integration of artificial intelligence and so on. Next stage. Next slide. Sorry. So this part, right now we're in this very crucial moment, right? In this pandemic, where all the education has been disturbed. But how do we use COVID-19 to boost the digital education system? This is a four important parts. So this is from the government, principals, teachers, and companies. From the government side, the government should provide guidance and resources for schools to implement digital education to ensure that every student can benefit from the digital offerings. And they should also allow more public tenders to be adapted to a blended classroom. So after the government have already set the guidance and resources, principals, all school principals from universities and K-12 schools need to act as role models for digital education to facilitate the teacher, and then also implement like a long-term continuous improvement on digital education. And after principals have already set as a role model, the teachers can benefit from all of this. Teachers can benefit from learning about how to use the digital classroom, learn how to use the hardware and software to actually use it and implement to their students. And also they need to learn about how ICT works. And the fourth one is companies. So the companies, especially the education technology companies, they need to work closely with governments and schools to adapt the educational needs for blended classroom. So this is a very important step, not only for Indonesia, but also for a lot of the different countries. This is what we have to do in order to boost the digital education system in this era. Next slide, please. So what we have done in Institute for Information Industry is that we have already developed sustainable learning since we have already lots of very good experience in training and support in online learning, and especially online merged offline education. We're also acting as consultant service. We're helping lots of different schools to implement different kind of innovative technologies. Maybe they're still using traditional way of teaching. III is acting as a consultant service in this area. We're also an education solution integrator. So we are working with lots of great edtech companies from Taiwan so that we can implement their products to Indonesia. And right now we have already worked with over 10 countries with governments, schools, education, and different institutions for the variety of projects. Next slide. So this is a kind of like a chart of what our mission is in III. So aside from building up smart campus, we're actually also designing very interactive learning content, because learning needs to be fun. So we're actually utilizing these kind of technologies, online learning, VR, AR, these kind of very innovative technologies to design good learning content. And using these technologies, we can also narrow the gap between urban and rural areas. As you can imagine, like students in the village and students in the city, their access to education is very different. In rural areas, maybe they don't have internet connection. So that in Taiwan, we're working with governments and schools to ensure that this problem can be solved. And we're also teaching kids with special education. We have also social innovation acceleration and much, much more. Next slide. Over the few years, we have done we have worked with 55 pilot schools to implement the Smart Classroom project, and also implemented 7,000 smart classroom, mostly in Vietnamese and Indonesian schools. We have trained over 10,000 teachers and involved more than 100,000 students from K-12 and university students. We have worked with very big corporations and enterprise in Taiwan, and work with over 100 small medium business, and also have lots of different cloud service, and have developed applications in the fields of like big data as well. Next slide. As for the collaboration in Indonesia, this is this is our first pilot project, Smart Classroom in Indonesia in 2018. We worked with Trisakti University, and also the Dr. Ali, which is to make this smart classroom possible. So this smart classroom have equipment such as like a whiteboard, camera, 3D printing, and also like VR equipments. And After this project, we've also worked with different schools such as Universitas Nahdlatul Ulama Cirebon, Politeknik Negeri Jakarta, ITS Surabaya, and also right now with Sahid Polytechnic. We're also working very closely with the Ministry of Education of Pustatin. Next slide. Aside from working in the project of Smart Classroom, we're actually also doing lots of different online learning workshops. So as you can see here, we have been doing teaching kind of like about STEAM education. So STEAM education is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So we're using this kind of leveraging this kind of resources and use the online learning to teach all the teachers from around the world how to coding, how to use 3D printing. So basically with the setup of a smart classroom, we can also make this possible to make like a local workshop and make that smart classroom as like a hub for making more courses like this more accessible for teachers to learn. Next slide. So right now, this is all of our international collaborators. We have worked with most of the Southeast Asian countries and also with Hong Kong, South Korea, Middle East, England, USA, Finland, and Brazil. So right now that we have lots of different collaborators already. Next slide. Yeah, so this is my presentation today. I hope that I can have more time to share to you about what we can do and what we can improve. And we're constantly, looking out for more collaboration. So if you're interested in also like the idea of smart classroom and innovation in education, don't hesitate to contact me. This is my email right here at joey@iii.org.tw. Hope that you guys find this presentation useful, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Joyao.